What's up? Welcome. I love that picture that we open with because it looks like I look like a little thinner. So I dig it. Welcome to Dave and Jason versus.
Yes, today we are versing the Marx Brothers.
The Marx Brothers.
Yes. And
I'm a big fan.
Yes. And for those of you who don't know the Marx Brothers, you should, because they were comedy geniuses. And we need to move the light a little bit. We can move it.
It's like this right here.
It's on your face. Yeah, we can move it. Watch.
Watch this. There we go.
It's moved.
Boom. The magic of television. It's much better. Okay.
Yes.
So the Marx Brothers.
Yes.
Three of them on for the most part. People recognize the three of them.
Yeah. Which are Groucho, Harpo, and Chico.
Chico. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Some of you are like, what? Chico. No, not right. But it is. So we'll get to that in a minute.
Well, first let's just start with the beginning. I mean, I pulled some stuff, for the Google search, simple Google search. Right. You can find out a lot about these guys. The Marx Brothers were a family comedy act that was successful in vaudeville, which is like the old school, just like
Branson. It was when Branson was in New York, all around the country. When vaudeville was like, you know what, we're tired. Well, let's retire to Branson, because pretty much in Branson, if you have more than 2 kids, you're slapping a violin in their hand, and you're teaching them scales, and then they're going to be big musicians.
But vaudeville was more than just that. They were known for doing some. I mean, they had the comedy acts. Oh yeah. They had music. They had.
So does Branson.
Magic. Yeah. So does Branson. Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is so does Vegas. So does Vegas. I like the way you think.
Somebody can my things.
My monitor fell. My personal monitor. Okay. So yeah, that was the way it was for them. Yes. Like they were kind of a family. Yeah. They performed together at the beginning as young kids.
And there were actually 5.
There's 5 of them.
Marx Brothers. There was, of course, Groucho. Harpo. Chico. Zeppo.
Most people know Zeppo.
And Gummo.
5th one.
But Gummo didn't do the films with them. He was with them through all the vaudeville years and stuff, but from what I understand, too, I think that he and Groucho stayed pretty close throughout their entire lives.
Right.
So
as brothers should.
Yes. And, the 5th brother who performed with the other brothers in vaudeville, he left the act before the brothers started to make movies. He remained close to Groucho. Yeah.
A little funny story I've got about the vaudeville days. Because if you look at pictures of these guys, they're brothers, so they do kind of look somewhat alike because they're brothers.
Yes.
It was the daughter, I don't remember her name, I'm sorry if you're watching this. It was either the daughter of Chico or Harpo, I'm not quite sure which one it was, who mentioned that to them. She's like, you guys look so similar. I bet you guys could switch roles for the night. And nobody
I heard that story.
Notice. Yeah. Nobody would recognize it. And they did.
And nobody
noticed. And she skipped that show. From what I've heard, she skipped that show to do something else. She's been to every other show. Yeah. And when she got there, the show was over, they came running up to her. Did you notice? Did you see it? Did you see that we switched? She was like, I wasn't there. And but yeah, they did it.
Yeah, that's a great story. I love that.
Totally.
And sorry, this is supposed to be my brother's gag gift to me last year. or Think Gag gift because it's like a Das Cannonstein from Think Geek, but I'm using it, so.
And it's being used immensely well. Oh,
yeah.
Represent. Dr. Pepper sent us free stuff.
And Think Geek.
And Think Geek sent us free stuff. Think Geek, you should send us the, it's coming out this month, and I'm advertising for it, so hopefully I get a free one so I can give it to my girlfriend for Christmas, is the R2-D2 French press.
Ooh,
that is breaking later. No, the pre-orders are sold out right now, I believe, but if you order now, then you can get, like mid-December it'll ship.
Nice.
It's the Christmas present this year.
That's cool.
Actually, it's not, but I don't want to talk about what the real Christmas present is because I know what the real Christmas present is. What for, like, not my girlfriend, but in the universe right now, in the United States.
In the United States.
In the United States,
yes.
What the big Christmas present is this year?
Hiding from Trump?
No, that's not a Christmas present.
Sorry, yeah.
You had to do it.
I had to, sorry.
You had to do
it.
it.
That's okay. Sorry,
I'm going to move along.
Moving on.
Hatchimals.
Oh, God, yeah. Somebody, my brother told me about that. Michael did, yeah. Like, it's literally like an egg that hatches a...
like a Furby.
Like a Furby?
It's a newfangled type of Furby. But it really hatches. There's an egg, like they come packaged in an egg.
Yeah.
And then through time, space, relative dimensions in space, the egg hatches.
That's so weird.
It is weird, and it's expensive.
Yeah, I heard they're expensive. Like
and
crazy.
you can't keep them. You can't keep them on the shelf.
Really?
You just cannot. That.
If you find one, we should have one for the show. We'll have it in the back and watch it hatch every episode.
No. Once it hatches, it's hatched.
No, I know.
That's an egg. Like it's like a cracking egg. It's.
We would live stream it.
Yeah, we would.
Okay,
Absolutely.
But anyway.
So that, and then we'll get to all this for the Christmas special. We should probably do this for the Christmas special.
Exactly, which we will be doing one. We have a cool idea.
We will.
For it.
We do have a cool idea for it.
So. But
back to the Marx Brothers.
Yes, and so we were talking about, and here's a picture of.
Here we go.
The four.
So left to right, from left to right, looking at it, we've got Chico, Zeppo, Groucho, Harpo.
And now, well, of course, Gummo's not in there.
Gummo's not in this one because, again, like we said, he didn't really make the movies with them very much, but... So
then after Zeppo left, it quickly became, just...
and it wasn't even so much Zeppo left.
Well,
Zeppo was more or less the straight man.
Well, yeah, I think he became an agent.
Yeah.
He liked the business side of stuff,
sure.
And that's what he went and continued doing.
So these are the three guys. These are my guys. These are Jason and I's guys.
Yeah.
Growing up, we love these guys.
And everybody loves... Groucho's hilarious. The guy was the best at one-liners. Yeah. But my favorite... I love Harpo.
Yeah?
Harpo was fantastic. But before we get into Harpo, too, we'll start with Groucho.
We'll start.
I did some research before the show.
He did.
I
didn't.
It's okay. It's all good. I wanted to.
I did research back in 2005.
Yes.
When I was deep in the Marx Brothers territory.
Yeah.
Deep.
Yeah. Well, see, one of my dream projects, everybody has dream projects, but I would love to do either a very in-depth documentary about Harpo, or I would like to do like a web series like about his life and have somebody play. I think that would just be so much fun.
Yeah.
But do it like a Marx Brothers movie.
Right.
Make it ridiculous.
I like that.
But anyway, so if you're watching, I'm very interested in that family of the Marx family. So, and speaking of that, before we get into Groucho, did you know that Rob Zombie is making a biopic about him?
About Groucho?
Yeah. He's a big fan of the Marx Brothers.
Of course he is.
If you go back to House of a Thousand Corpses, all his characters in that movie are named after
they sure are.
The Duck Soup characters.
Yep. Yeah. They're all named after Groucho Marx characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the characters Groucho Marx has played.
Yes. Rufus T. Firefly.
Driftwood.
Yeah.
The rest of them escape me at this time.
So, anyway, cool fun fact. But Groucho, and this is what I pulled off of IMDb, because there's so many different ways people talk about him. So I will credit John, I think it's Narens, who did this biography on IMDb. I pulled for him there. It says the bushy, let's see here, let's do this properly. Here we go. The bushy-eyed, brown cigar-smoking wisecracker with the painted-on mustache and stooped walk was the leader of the Marx Brothers, with one-liners that often double were often double entendres, and I'm being called, of course.
Getting a call during the show.
I don't know why that happened.
How do you get this back onto the
Go right there. You just click on this. There you go.
I thought I did. There it is. Getting a call on the show. I'm trying to take over. Like he's dealing with his phone. I'm trying to take over production properties by pushing buttons.
It's now on silent.
Now it's blowing up. And let's see if I can do this. Let's
click on it.
I gotta click on it.
There we go.
I guess Macs don't do double clicks.
So, with a great love of he did with one-liners that were often double entendres. Groucho never cursed in any of his performances and said he never wanted to be known as a dirty comic. With a great love of music and singing, the Marx Brothers actually started as a singing group or a vocal group. One of the things Groucho was best known for was his rendition of the song Lydia the Tattooed Lady.
Oh.
Okay. Now, here's some interesting facts about Groucho really quick. He died 3 days after Elvis Presley.
See, that's like an overshadowing. They always come in threes, they say.
Yeah.
Elvis Presley, Groucho Marx. I wonder who the third one was. Or if he was the third one and Elvis was the second one.
I'll go back and look. But unfortunately, due to the Elvis, it overshadowed his death. Shortly after his death, his children found a gag letter that Groucho had actually wrote to them and stated that he wanted to be buried on top of Marilyn Monroe. In true Groucho fashion.
In true Groucho fashion. And that's pretty funny. That reminds me, but it's going to lead us to another thing much later on in the show.
Yeah, exactly. And then George Finneman, Groucho's announcer on the
yeah, he had his own TV show.
You Bet Your Life. He was the host of that. Was once asked if Groucho ever embarrassed him, and he laughed and said, "Every show. Every show he embarrassed him." So, then where is it? We got a whole bunch of cool stories.
He's got a ton of stories here.
Oh, once during their Broadway run on a show called I'll Say She Is.
I'll Say She Is.
And it was the brothers' first Broadway play. It says Harpo tried to play a practical joke on Groucho by chasing the chorus girl onto the stage while Groucho was in the middle of his act. And but not to be outdone, Groucho just simply pulled out his watch and said the 5:15 is right on schedule.
See, that's what I love about Groucho, is that Groucho you can't get over on Groucho. Groucho, I think, if he were to get a tattoo, you know how people get, like, Thug Life? Yeah. And, like, I've got a buddy who's got, like, what does he have? I don't know, it's something very inspirational.
Geek Life.
Groucho would say, never let him see you sweat.
Yeah.
He I wouldn't say professional all the time, because some of the stuff he said is just ridiculous.
Well, I think it's how he was in real life. Yeah, it was just how he was.
Yeah, And I've heard stories about, and it might have even been that Fenneman guy who told this story, because it was somebody from You Bet Your Life who said that they would just sit and listen to him.
Yeah,
like he wouldn't be talking to anybody. He would just be kind of conversing with himself.
Yeah,
and kind of just talking through the show, and like he would say stuff and he would chuckle at it.
Yeah,
and it was like that was Groucho's whole thing. It's like he just did it for himself. He made himself laugh, and that's what, if you watch anybody's shows nowadays, if you listen to anybody talking about their success nowadays, or even from now to then, it's always make yourself laugh. Yeah. And then, and I think these guys were the first ones to ever do it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. In the 1950s, Groucho was invited to take a tour of the New York Stock Exchange. I love this story. This is the first time I heard it today when I was researching. While in the observation booth, he grabbed the public address system handset and began singing Lydia, the Tattooed Lady. Of course. Upon hearing silence coming from the trading room floor, he walked out into view and was given a loud cheer by the traders, and then he stopped him and shouted, "Gentlemen, in 1929 I lost $800,000 on this floor, and I intend to get my money's worth." For the next 15 minutes, he sang, danced, and told jokes, and all this time the Wall Street stock ticker was running blank.
Oh my God! Talk about the second crash.
That's hilarious though. I mean, he was never much of a womanizer in real life, as were his older brothers. Having joked later in life about his disastrous attempts at courting as a young man. And cool fact for all the Marx Brothers, he and his brothers starred in 5 of the American Film Institute's 100 funniest movies of all time. Duck Soup at number 5.
Duck Soup, that's amazing. We watched a little bit of it today.
A Night at the Opera.
Amazing.
Is number 12. A Day at the Races.
Day at the Races is an amazing one, too.
And that's at 59. Horse Feathers at number 65. And Monkey Business at number 73. So, those guys made movies. I mean, that was back in the... all made in the 30s.
So, out of the top 100 movies, 100 comedy movies of all time, Duck Soup is number 5.
Yep, I love that movie. It's fantastic.
It is.
I wish I could find the script and get the rights to turn that into a musical on like a play.
He's talked about that.
I have. I want to. It's just so funny.
And I promptly said, "Oh, that'd be great. I would love to play one of the Marx Brothers." And he was like, "No, I would want to get people that." Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
No, I did not.
I was like, "I would love to play one of the Marx Brothers," and you're like, "No, I'd want to get people that look like the Marx Brothers." And I was like, "Christmas time is here."
I didn't say anything like that. Making me sound like a complete. Oh no. I did not say that. All right, now we're going to talk about the one that I like.
His favorite, Harpo.
Next to Groucho.
I love Harpo.
Harpo's great. Oh, everybody does. Oh, Harpo's great.
Harpo's great. Big fan. Not big fan. Yeah. Guest starred on like Lucille Ball one episode.
Yep.
That they did stuff together before.
Yep. He recreated one of his most famous scenes on her show.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Which we'll talk about that in a minute.
I pulled this off of IMDb as well. And I didn't put the person's name, so I apologize, but it is from his IMDb page. With a big, poofy, curly red hair, a top hat, and a horn, the lovable mute was the favorite of the Marx Brothers. Though chasing women was a favorite routine in his movies, Harpo was a devoted father and husband. He adopted the mute routine in vaudeville and carried it over into his films. Harpo was an accomplished, self-taught harpist whose musical numbers would many times bring tears to the eyes of the audience of an otherwise hilarious movie. When he taught himself to play harp, he later learned that he played it the wrong way. However, when he became famous and wealthy, on occasion throughout his career, people took harp lessons from he would take lessons from various harpists and music teachers in both New York and Los Angeles to better increase his skill. However, due to his natural-born talent, many musicians and music teachers ended up approaching him to learn his method of playing.
Oh, wow. That's how it is.
Yeah. He once crashed a Hollywood costume party at the home of Marion Davies, dressed as Kaiser Wilhelm II. He had to hitchhike to get home and ended up being arrested by Beverly Hills police on charges of vagrancy, illegal entry, and escaping from jail in Gloversville, New York, impersonating Kaiser Wilhelm II and impersonating Harpo Marx.
Oh, wow.
Harpo officially became a mime after a theater critic noted in 1914 that Harpo was brilliant until his character spoke. From then on, Harpo never spoke while in character.
That's awesome. See, that's what I love about, not even so much these guys, anything in general. You know them for that. Like, we all know Harpo is the lovable mute. Never talk, never say anything. And it turns out that wasn't even necessarily his intention. But somebody said he was brilliant until he started talking.
Yes, but it's Groucho's reasoning behind. Well, Groucho has a different reason of why he's silent, and I've got the story right here. So the story is Groucho gave his reason for Harpo's silence. Once while playing a theater in Winnipeg, Manitoba, during a vaudeville tour, the Marx Brothers had a disagreement with the theater's manager regarding pay. At the end of the Marx Brothers' engagement there, the manager paid them the amount that they had demanded, but in several large sacks containing the proper amount in the form of pennies, nickels, and dimes. Since the brothers' train was departing in 10 minutes, the brothers had no choice but to accept and lug the sacks onto the train with them. As the train departed, Harpo shouted to the manager, "I hope your theater burns to the ground," and that night it actually did. Groucho always said that Harpo's voice is like an axe hanging on the backstage wall of every theater to be used only in case of emergencies.
So
that was his reasoning for it. And of course, in one of these... what in the heck is going on?
Why is it so popular today?
I don't know.
And why is nothing silent?
I don't understand.
We should have put everything on silent before. I came over and we just sat and hung out forever. We didn't even do anything, and
Yeah, I don't
We
know.
could turn everything off.
I don't understand.
It's whatever.
That's all good.
You get to see our lives. That's what podcasts are all about.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, in Duck Soup, there's a famous scene that Harpo did with Groucho, and it was called the mirror scene. And basically what it was
If you ever see, oh, there's somebody in front of me, and we're going to try and not be caught, so we're going to do the same thing they do. Marx Brothers did it first.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So you can watch that, your little Nickelodeon Victoria show, or whatever the little show is that the girls are and the boys are telling the adults to go shove it, which is bullcrap. I'm sorry, let me get off the soapbox. And they're doing the little thing because they're all smarter than the parents. Just remember that an old man wrote that for them who loves the Marx Brothers.
It's true. Quite true.
I'm not saying we're the old men. I mean, we are, but we're not those ones, or else we wouldn't be here in a subterranean basement location in Springfield, Missouri. We'd be in a subterranean basement location in Los Angeles.
Or New York. Or Chicago. Any of the big three.
Sure. I'd be down for, Phoenix even. Gosh.
Phoenix,
yeah. Denver is fine.
Ooh, Denver. All right. And now we're going to move on to Chico.
All right, this one here. This was one he got on me, and
I had heard this. I guess it's apparently a big like, show business type lore now. Like it's like a famous thing.
This is NSFW, not suitable for work. Children leave the room. Heads up now. There will be no more heads up.
Well, I'll censor it.
Don't censor it.
Don't censor.
You will not censor it. If you censor it, I will say it.
Okay.
Because it's Chico Marx and it's freaking awesome and hilarious, and I am in awe of his awesomeness. You will say it.
All right. Here we go. We'll see. All right. So we're going to go back to Chico and show him.
Chico.
Here we go. Hey.
Hey, all right.
Sorry about that. So let's go back. Let's just double check, guys. Sorry, we're just going back over a few things. So
that one's fine. Okay.
Okay, so we were fine on Groucho and Harpo. Yeah, we were good on all those guys. So let's go back to, let's see here. Okay, sorry about that. So here's what we're going to do. Apparently this did not save like it said it did. So, real quick, again, we're going to go back to this whole thing with Harpo.
Right.
Harpo in Duck Soup, he was famous for doing this mirror scene where, the setup was Groucho would hit a fake mirror and he got up, and Harpo was on the other side, and Harpo would mimic him so he could avoid being caught. And
I think one of the biggest things that nobody heard, because
we
were having audio problems, folks, with the picture.
Sorry.
One of the biggest things is the audio was turned off. Not on ours, or it was on ours. But while we were talking, he told me, and I was excited about this tidbit. Mm-hmm. When that mirror scene is happening, this one here, the sound is shut off.
Yes.
So that the person facing with the person's back to the camera, they can be talking to the other person, telling them what movements to make.
Yes.
Magic's biggest secrets revealed. Remember that show?
I do. It's on Netflix. Actually.
It is on Netflix.
It is. It's very interesting.
We should do David Jason versus Magic.
Ooh, we should go we can go in Branson and go on one of those magic shows.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool.
Anyway,
so Harpo, he was awesome,
and he redid. He also recreated it on Lucille
with Lucy
on I Love Lucy,
yes.
As well, and so there is that. And so what we were trying to do before all that audio thing decided to be redonkulous a little bit,
and we're fine now.
We should be fine.
We're good. Let's go back to Chico.
There's Chico.
So what we were doing, we were talking about Chico. So do you want me to read this? Is that why you were giving it to me?
Yeah, but did everybody hear the other stuff about him?
Yeah, they heard most of it.
I mean, so it was fine on him. It just wasn't on her.
Well, you only had him up for a little bit when you were talking about most of him.
Okay.
So whatever. Okay. If you guys want to know all about Chico, if you didn't hear it, davidjasonversus@gmail.com. davidjasonversus@gmail.com. We'll tell you all about it.
Okay. Well, basically, let's reset this up again. So this is like a big show business type of lore now. It's like everybody talks about it because it was just such a bold thing to do, apparently. And it is when you hear about it, because he was at the premiere of their opening night party for their Broadway
of Coconuts.
And then Groucho had let him know.
Groucho informed Chico, and if you remember, there's Chico. He came up to Chico and said, "Hey, Tallulah Bankhead's here."
Yes, and for those of you who don't know who she is,
we have Tallulah Bankhead. There she is, beautiful,
gorgeous actress.
Gorgeous actress from the 30s. Of course, So, Chico being the man, the absolute man, strode up to Miss Bankhead.
Didn't blink an eye.
Didn't bat an eye. Introduced himself, and this is what he said. Miss Bankhead, I would like to fuck you. To which Miss Bankhead replied,
yes.
So you shall, darling. So you shall.
And...
Oh! 1930s action right there. Spilling tea, sipping tea, getting the shade.
Yeah, and and it was like, she even laughed about it. Like, it was just so bold of him to do it. And he probably did right after that party.
He was Chico for a reason.
Yeah, and it's just so funny.
It's amazing.
But I do have a Marx Brother collectible. I could show.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
What are we doing sitting around like a bunch of Kansas City washerwomen? Here we go.
This is the first edition, I believe. I found it at a local bookstore.
Harpo Speaks.
Yep, Harpo Speaks. This is his biography.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. It's actually got some pictures in here, too, of him. Let's see here.
I always heard that, his kids, you show the pictures. His kids always said that he had a real...
there we go.
There we go.
You can see some cool pictures.
A real heavy New York accent. So, like hamburger was hamburger.
Hamburger.
Oil was Earl.
Here he is with Harry S. Truman, right here.
Harry S. Truman from our lovely state of Missouri.
Indeed.
That's all there is to that.
So it's really neat seeing this, and I haven't had a chance to read all of it through. I've just caught snippets of it, but I just love they're just funny. They're the original. I think they're funnier than the Three Stooges.
Oh, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
The Three Stooges, I felt like was more of that, like, I don't want to say slap. I guess it was slapstick. Like,
it is slapstick.
Slapstick comedy.
So is the Marx Brothers.
But there's more well thought out.
But it was just.
It wasn't
very.
It wasn't like
smart.
Exactly. It wasn't like punching somebody just because it was funny. There was always a catch to what was happening.
Right.
And here's a great picture of the three brothers with their kids, right here. So you can see it.
Aww.
Right there. Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, I burned myself. But anyway, so that's one of my collectibles, and I want to make his story dream project.
You know who has long curly red hair?
This guy.
You know who can't stay quiet for a 2-hour movie? I could do it if I had a good director. No, but one thing I love about Harpo, and I was going to save this for him, towards the end of his career, he did a Harpo Speaks to advertise for the book, I don't think it was at Madison Square Garden or anything.
I think he did something at Madison Square.
It might have been at Madison Square Garden.
And he spoke.
And he spoke. It was him.
It was his
no
last show.
Music, no other Groucho, Chico, nothing. It was just him on stage, sold out, standing room only.
Yeah.
And that was one of the only times that people ever heard him talk. It's the only time we've never heard him talk.
Well, actually, there is one of the early movies that they were in. I can't remember which one it was, but they were stowaways in an opening of one of the movies. I can't remember which movie it was.
Does he actually talk?
They were all in the barrels and they were singing. That's the
and
you can actually and Harpo's one of the ones singing.
Right.
But since you don't see him, they can get away with it. But that's an actual thing that they got away. You can actually hear his voice.
Right. So in
that movie,
the chorus of other.
But in all the movies, you can't physically see him. But there was that tour he went on, and I think it was the last show that he did. He actually spoke.
People said it was amazing.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
And he also I think he hardly didn't have any hair.
Yeah, that was a wig.
It was a wig. But he liked that because he could actually go out with his family and nobody would recognize him.
Isn't that great?
And so he could go around and he could hear people talking about him or his brothers and he could say something about it.
Yeah, because he really, nothing recognizable about him. His
Yeah.
voice isn't recognizable. His look isn't recognizable.
Yeah.
His brain is. I mean, he just puts that wig on and the trench coat and the horns, and I mean, it's Harpo.
Yeah.
But take off the wig and the horns and he talks, and it's just,
Oh, yeah.
Adolf.
Well, and like which was his real name.
Harpo's real name was Adolf. Back in the day when that was still kind of an okay name.
Yeah, exactly. Now, this was
both
our favorite film, and we mentioned it earlier, and I want to turn it into an actual like musical play.
First one I've seen. First. It
was mine too.
Marx Brothers movie I've ever seen. Duck Soup. Yep.
Yeah, and see, I was a big fan. And I still am a big fan of like old classic horror movies from back at that time. You know, I love the nostalgia of it, but I had never. And for me, comedy is it's a real touchy subject in a way for me because like nowadays comedies are so like. They don't do the setup for the jokes anymore. It feels like it's just kind of like they tried so hard just to go for the joke without any story build up. You know what I mean? Right. And like the days of Mel Brooks are done. You know, and things like that. And I like those. And Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Those guys were great. Yeah. You know, but we don't have that anymore. And it's just because people are wanting what I would consider loosely the not stupid comedy. The raunchy, over-the-top comedy, like it's
almost lazy comedy.
Yeah, because the last two, I stand by this. The last two well-written, silly, stupid comedies were the first Anchorman and then Dodgeball.
Okay, yeah.
After that, it just kind of went downhill. I felt like
after that, it's more or less like, huh.
You know,
I just went, huh.
If you watch the first Anchorman,
ain't that funny?
Exactly. Like if you watch the first Anchorman, and you compare that to the second Anchorman, you can see the difference.
Night and day.
Yeah. And if you watch the original Anchorman versus the unrated version of Anchorman, the original cut's better.
You think so?
And it's the jokes just land. It's a testament to amazing editing.
Good editing.
Oh man. And but after that, it's kind of like when they did Talladega Nights, it's just like. It felt like they were trying to just try too hard.
It seems like they were just trying to capture lightning in a bottle.
Exactly. Again, recapture it. And that's why I hope they never make a sequel to Dodgeball, because the original Dodgeball is just hilarious.
That's a classic.
I laugh every time.
It's an instant classic.
You know, and they had the most well-calculated cameos in that movie.
Yeah.
You know, like, is there anything you can do? And then they cut around and it's William Shatner. You know? Yeah. There's nothing I can do. You know, and rules, and it's just the timing and the editing, and it's just perfect. They had the setup. And this is what these guys did in these movies. They are just when you actually listen to like what Groucho is saying in Duck Soup and his insults he does. Mm-hmm. They're so well thought out and brilliant. Ridiculous.
They're layered. They're multi-layered.
You know, like we were just in the opening. We were both we were saying along with it was whenever he first gets introduced.
Yes, to Margaret Dumont, who is almost pretty much another Marx brother. We could talk about her another time. But.
Yes, yeah, she was in a lot of their movies. And is that right? Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
But. What was it? The line? There's quite a few lines. Like when they're introduced.
When she was talking about they're talking about her husband.
Oh.
And he's like he
breaks the fourth wall. He turns to the camera at one point. Right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah. I wish we had that scene. That'd be great. But will you put it on the page?
Yeah, I put it on
our Facebook page, facebook.com/DaveandJasonVersus. You can check out this scene. But basically. What does he say? Is your husband dead? Did he leave you a lot of money? Answer the second question first.
Yeah.
and then
can't you see I love you?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not trying to say that I love you. And she was like, I was with him to the very end.
And I see it was murder.
No. What did she say? No. She's like, I reached out and I kissed him.
So I see it was murder. And then he just keeps going. And I love the gag too in that one with Chico and Harpo when they're with the popcorn salesman.
Yes.
That scene
peanuts,
is hilarious.
Get your peanuts. Chico, you know.
Chico, yeah, and they keep on like switching hats.
Yes.
And Harpo puts it on the
flame.
Yeah. It catches on fire. It's like, you know, and it's because he just spoken sounds. And then I love that one part where they're supposed to be Firefly's helpers, or and he gets on the motorcycle with Harpo, and he's in the sidecar, and he goes, off we go, you know, and then Harpo just takes off.
In the sidecar.
Well, there was that one. There was two times. Oh, there was one. The first time was Harpo was on the motorcycle, and the motorcycle drove off, and Groucho was still sitting in the sidecar. And he goes, I've been trying to leave. Was it like I've been trying to leave all day and haven't got anywhere, or something?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Groucho's delivery is great.
Yeah, mine was not. I'm butchering that. But then there was that part later when he got on the motorcycle, and the motorcycle wouldn't go anywhere, and then Harpo took off in the sidecar.
Yeah.
It's just good, calculated comedy. It's just, even though it's ridiculous, it's just hilarious. And when I'm getting to that was like, when I finally watched Duck Soup, and somebody said, you need to watch the Marx Brothers and watch Duck Soup, I watched it thinking, I ain't going to laugh at this.
Right.
I was laughing hysterically.
Right. Now, there are some points that it's dated.
It is dated, yeah. There are, yes.
When there's like but when there's like a 10-minute scene of Harpo playing the harp.
Yes.
That's a little rough.
It is.
Because, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful and it's amazing. But the thing is, and they've said this before. Mm-hmm. I've seen people say this before. When Harpo started playing the harp, not started playing when he was a kid, but in the movies, whenever you would watch the movies, and it was time for Harpo to play the harp,
yeah,
and Chico to play the piano, because Chico was the piano
player.
Yep. They said it before. It's like Harpo left. Harpo was gone, and now it was just Adolf Marx or whatever. I think he changed his name. I'm pretty sure he changed.
Yeah, I think he did.
But he wasn't Harpo anymore. And if you watch those movies, go back and watch those movies, and both Harpo and Chico, when Harpo sits down at the harp.
Oh, Tank.
You all right, Tanky? Our attack Hydra is... Hydra? What did we call him last time? Not Hydra. Hydra? Yeah. Our attack Hydra. Damn, Hydra. And Chico, too. As soon as he started playing the piano, Chico was gone. It was no longer Chico.
Yeah.
Because Chico didn't learn to play the piano. Mm-hmm. Leonard Marx learned to play the piano.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so, it's just cool to see that,
Well, and,
I don't know where I was
and
going
if you watch Chico play the piano, he has his own unique way of playing too. Because he does this thing where he has this like little the gun finger. He like plays with just the two fingers.
The last key. Shooting it.
So and
very, very
but
cool.
Duck Soup is just it makes fun of the political atmosphere of that time too.
It did. It could honestly make fun of political atmosphere at any time.
It could very much, and it's really just a testament to well done comedy. And it's just, you don't get stuff like that anymore, hardly. And
I was thinking about this too. I mean, do you think it's because they did it? Like, you can't redo something somebody else did and expect to call your own and be successful with it. So there's at points I feel like it was good and it was calculated because they were the first ones to do it.
Yeah, and I agree. I agree. I mean, they were, and it's hard to follow that up. But I think on television you see a lot more of their style of comedy on television rather than in the movies anymore. Right. I think that type of comedy is kind of transitioned to the serialized format more than being on movies. Stuff like Parks and Rec and The Office. Those they have calculated jokes, even though they're ridiculous. They have those.
Right. How I Met Your Mother. You ever seen that show? That show will set up a joke in one season and pay it off 3 seasons later. I swear.
Yep.
I swear
it's
that
good.
show.
It was well written.
That is one of the
good.
They are.
It was legend. Wait for it. Dairy.
I feel like the How I Met Your Mother, the Parks and Rec, they are the Marx Brothers of our time. Because they're not necessarily doing what the Marx Brothers did in the respects of, but they're reinventing. They're thinking out jokes.
They were doing ridiculous comedy, but it was well calculated.
Exactly. It was not
thought out. Where's the punchline going? Where's the punchline going to be?
Say.
Where's the punchline going to be? What instead of going for the punchline, they do the setup and then they do the punchline. Right. Whereas today it's more about just screw the setup, let's do the punchline. You know what I mean? And it's just one of those things. But anyway, so you can buy a lot of the Marx Brothers films. They have a box set. So I'm gonna try to get one for Christmas.
Yes.
They have their silver screen collection of all their films together, and I highly recommend. If you love comedy, I know, like he said, there's some stuff that's dated in it, but
still,
there's still some just good laughs.
Gems.
And you'll see stuff and you'll go, I thought I saw that in another movie. It's been paid to so much homage to. That just Duck Soup alone. And one was A Night at Casablanca. I think it was A Night at Casablanca, one of my favorite gags. And it was so over the top ridiculous. They were trying to clear people out of the area in the street, and Harpo was like leaning up against a wall like this, and the guy's like, "Hey, I said let's go," and he's just like, and he's like, "Well, what are you doing? You holding up the wall?" And Harpo's like, "Yes." And then the guy's, oh, whatever, come on. And he pulls Harpo out of the way, and the entire building just falls over.
See, it's just that kind of stuff.
It's so ridiculous.
If you were to do that
funny.
in 2016, it wouldn't be funny.
Yeah.
If you did that and, he's holding the wall up. No. But in 1930s, that had never been done. And because you got to think about this. That was the same time period that You Are My Sunshine was a #1 hit.
Yep.
For adults. For guys like me and him. We would walk around, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. Like, that was, seriously, that was the hit of the time.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, with we've evolved as a nation, as a people.
Yes.
And we need the comedy writers to do the same thing.
Exactly. Like
the people that write How I Met Your Mother, like the people that write Parks and Rec, like the people that write, not even so much comedy, but anything in general. Like, I'm going to go off topic and talk about Stranger Things again. The Duffer Brothers. Also, Strange Happenings by American Wasteland Entertainment.
Oh, yes.
Coming to a TV near you soon.
All right. So, that was the Marx Brothers. There's so much more to do with them. I wish we could show some clips and stuff, but we just didn't have time.
We could talk about each movie individually.
Yeah, it'd be its whole series.
Maybe we could do a Dave and Jason versus one of their movies specifically later on as like a filler episode. One month in between something.
We can do that.
And then just be an episode, just,
But if any Marx brother relation is watching this, we would love to talk to you.
We would love it.
Hear stories about your amazingly talented family.
Yes.
And just anything. I know that probably I know Rob Zombie got the rights to make a Groucho Marx thing. I have no money at the moment, but I would love to do Harpo. Whether it's a documentary, in depth, or an online, like a web series, to make sure that people get it out there, do it in black and white, and do it like an old Marx Brothers film. I would die to just. I would kill to do that. I love the story so much. I think there's so much inspiration there and a lot that can be learned and laughed at.
Yeah.
But anyway. Anything else you want to talk about before we go?
No, that's great. This was a good episode. We talked about, we had a little bit of glitches.
Yeah, that's okay.
But what episode, do you know what episode number this is?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
I'll go back and look on YouTube.
They say 9 is the magic number for podcasts. If you made it to 9, then you're doing fine.
I think we're getting pretty close.
I didn't mean to make that rhyme.
So, anyway, we're going to get ready to hop onto the Facebook Live and do our Christmas themed stuff, because depending on what time you're watching this, when we were filming it, it's November, it's almost Thanksgiving, so we're going to count down to Christmas do some stuff on Facebook Live. So I think next time, depending, we got holidays coming up, I think the next one we might do a Star Wars episode.
Yeah, I think we might do a Star Wars.
Yeah, because we're with Rogue One coming out, and next month, and then we're going to try and do our Christmas special.
Christmas time.
Yes, and the idea we have for our Christmas special is going to be fun if we can pull it off. So stay tuned for that, and until next time, this is Dave, I'm Jason, and we will verse you next time.